Hey everybody, I just wanted to give some clarifications here for our consideration with zoos practices worksheet, how this goes along with the slideshow that's related to it, and the consideration for zoos animal sheet. You should have done the consideration for zoos animal sheet before doing this one. So if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and stop the video now and go back over to that one, finish that first before going into this one. So this assignment is designed to help you further plan out a zoo or similar facility of your design. Look back to your sheet, Consideration for Zoos Animals, to think about which animals you will be figuring out your practices for. First, consider the different practices brought up in the presentation about how your zoo will treat its animals. So again, these correlate with these questions down here. Each section is in the same order as the presentation to make it easier for you to follow along. You may gain or lose money, so that's going to be represented either with a negative dollar sign for lose or a positive dollar sign for gain, which will factor into the second part of this assignment. Track the changes in your money in the current money space provided. So under each question, there's a current money space. Your starting total is $10. And again, that's not like $10 to start a zoo. Think of it as like $10,000 or something more like that. But again, for simplicity's sake, we're just saying 10. Each question, including the reflection questions, is worth 2 points each. So question 1, do you plan on giving most of your animals sterile, easy to clean enclosures or plant-filled naturalistic enclosures? So you put your choice, either one of those bold terms, sterile or naturalistic here. If you choose naturalistic, get -1 for your vet bills for treating bacteria and toxic plants. Now, even though some of these are going to have negatives right off the bat in terms of the price, again, think about the upside of naturalistic. It gives your animals a nicer place to live than a sterile environment does, even though they could get sick. So weigh the pros and cons of it. Just because it subtracts from the money doesn't mean that it makes it less nice for the animals. So think about that part too. Number 2, do you want your employees to work with most of your animals through protected contact or free contact? If you chose free, get -$1 for paying the medical bills of your zookeepers who get injured on the job. So again, put your choice in the current money there. Number 3 ties back into the considerations for zoos animal sheet a lot. So number 3 says, choose which hands-on experiences you would like your zoo to participate in. There were a bunch of them, so I went ahead and made a list with them here. This section uses the abbreviations from the consideration for zoos animal sheet, so refer to that list from this worksheet. You can pick as many as you want from this list, as long as you meet the requirements for it. So walkthrough exhibits. You can only do that, for example, if you picked SM, PT, or BI, and you're like, what do those letters stand for? Go back to the consideration for zoos, animals, scroll down, and we have our list here. So for example, if I know that I had PT, a parrot, in my thing here, I can say, oh, I can do a walkthrough exhibit with a parrot. So again, PT is part of that, +1 for guest interest. Feeding encounters, you can only do it with LH, SM, or PT, +$2 for guest feeding tickets. They'll cost a little bit extra. Third part here, petting areas. You can only do if you picked SM or FI, +$1 for guest interest. And then the immersive experiences, the really expensive personal experiences. You can do with any animal from your first sheet. You get +4 for the cost of guest tickets to interact with that animal. So put your choices here again, pick from the bold terms, and then talk about your current money amount now. Number 4, will your zoo be breeding animals to sell to non-zoos, breeding to help with SSPs, again, species survival plans is what that stands for, or just breeding to keep a stable population in your zoo? If you choose sell, get +$8 for selling animals to private owners or game farms. Again, they're worth a lot of money. If you choose SSPs, get -$2 for shipping costs between zoos. But remember, this is going to help keep populations stable as far as their populations in the wild. If you're just looking to keep only your zoo stable, it doesn't affect your money either way. So don't worry about adjusting the money if you just want to keep your zoo going. Number 5, will you pay the fee for your zoo to be accredited and held to a higher standard of animal care? If yes, get -$1 for the combination of high fees and guest interest. Kind of balances out a little bit there. Not a huge negative, but a little bit of a negative. If no, do not add or subtract any money. Just don't alter it. Finally, for 6, get -$8 for a combination of vet bills and food for the animals. Like I said, those are the 2 biggest expenses for a zoo. how much money do you have now? So look at your final total. Could be positive, could be negative, depends on the choices you made. And then finally, you have these reflection questions, again, worth 2 points each. Did your zoo end up making money or losing money? Again, factor that in from your question before. Was it positive or negative? 2, do you think the animals born in your zoo will be well taken care of throughout their lifespan? Think about, are they staying with you the whole time? Are you giving them good care while they're at your zoo? Are they going someplace else? Is it with a private owner or just somebody else or a game farm? Again, think about it based on the practices you chose. Number 3, almost all zoos have a commitment to helping animals in the wild. How do you think your zoo will help wild animals, and will it have the budget to help in that way? So again, think about what you want to do to help conservation in the wild, and then think about, can I realistically afford it? Did I have a positive profit to where I can afford to do that? Or was it negative? It's going to be hard for me to contribute that way. And then finally, number 4, we mentioned in the slideshow that many zoos are nonprofits and have trouble making money. What do you think most zoos do to help them pay for what they need if it's not hands-on experiences or selling animals? Again, not all zoos participate in that. So think about, what would it be if it's not those types of things to help raise money? So again, I hope that this assignment makes sense. I know it's a little bit complicated and it's building off the one before that. If you do have any questions, please feel free to call me. You can email me like usual. And you can participate in our science office hours meetings. So every weekday, Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on Zoom. The link to join should be in Classroom. So please feel free to contact me on there if you need help.